Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video First Look and a quick review of the LilBit mini wireless Bluetooth speaker. This is a can-sized speaker that is actually pretty good in terms of bass and lower frequency. However, it is a mono speaker and not a stereo speaker. The price point of under 20 bucks is fairly affordable. It does have a very interesting look to it, but it's not actually real wood. It's a textured kind of acrylic polycarbonate plastic that's painted over, but still sets it apart as far as the design compared to other low-cost, completely plastic or metal speakers that we've seen. It does have a microphone which you can use to answer phone calls in speakerphone mode. There's also a micro SD card slot that you can use to expand and play back music if you have songs loaded onto a memory card. And finally, it uses Bluetooth version 4.1, so it has a connection range of 10 meters or 33 feet. And it works with both iOS and Android. So here we have some basic specs: 3-watt driver, 800 milliamp hour capacity battery that will be fully charged up in under 2 hours. And performance, the speaker will last for about 5 hours of continuous audio playback before you need to recharge it again. As far as the design, again, it's the most, I would say, different thing about the LilBit mini speaker because, again, it resembles wood, which can match the other furniture you have in your room slightly better, so it kind of melts away into the surroundings in a sense, and it definitely looks much more expensive than the price suggests. When you pick it up, it has a reasonable weight to it. Construction quality seems okay. There is a speaker grill on the top. The bottom just features a rubber feature that prevents it from sliding around, whereas the back here features access to the power key. There's also access to a full-size USB slot for what looks like charging up another phone, so this might even work as a portable power bank. We're going to try that by plugging it into a smartphone next. There's also a micro SD card slot for, again, playing back music directly, micro USB for charging the speaker, and instead of using physical keys, they've actually opted for an interesting kind of dial wheel where you can jog this wheel to skip tracks and pause your music by pressing down. It's actually kind of clever, but I'm not a huge fan of this just because it's very tight on space, and as a result you have to really closely look before you do a particular command, and it might not be as user-friendly as having larger keys on the very top of the speaker. Quick jump cut, so we've plugged a phone or an MP3 player into the USB port, and indeed it's actually charging. You can see here there is the charging indication, which is red on top of the device, and it looks like the battery is being charged. So in addition to being a speaker, this is also a portable power bank for your mobile devices. Actually a very unique feature I haven't seen before on other Bluetooth speakers. So actually is a pretty nice travel companion. Now the speaker itself though isn't rugged, so I wouldn't submerge it in water or get it into places that are overly moist. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Also, there isn't a protective case included, which would have been nice as a travel companion. The pairing is pretty simple. It's just called LilBit T100 under Bluetooth devices with your phone. And we've paired, and now we're going to do a sample clip. Alright, so if we pause the music there, I would say that there is a tad of bass. It certainly does kind of vibrate when it hits lower notes in your hands. However, it's not quite as prominent as the advertising would suggest. I don't think there's actually a passive radiator in here, though even though it does do a decent job of lower frequencies. So if you are listening to EDM music or watching a few movies, action films, it does still, kind of produce that sound, but it's not quite as bass rich as more powerful speakers or stereo speakers on the market, which is kind of what I expected considering the size and the price of this low-cost wireless unit. Otherwise, sound quality actually seems to be pretty good. You can see how I paused the music and there was no static or distortion. Usually there's a slight hissing with Bluetooth speakers, but this one actually seems to do quite well. I could play back the sound around the room, so if my phone was on a table that was a few meters away, it still remained a fairly good connection, and there was very little latency between what's being played as well as what's showing up on screen, the movement of the film versus the sound. So it does a good job, I would say, overall. It does get reasonably loud, not the loudest speaker either. That was at half loudness, and you can hear that it fills up small spaces relatively easily, but it's not booming, it's not ultra loud. So overall, a pretty decent mini speaker, but again, keep your expectations modest, and I think that you will be overall satisfied with the unit. Perhaps it could use for a tad more bass, since that seems to be one line of the advertising that they were going for. But all in all, if you're looking for a mini speaker that does well across several day-to-day uses, playing back music in the morning, sharing with friends and family, in addition to having an interesting look and an interesting double function of acting as a power bank, which is something I've never seen before, then this could be something to consider at this price. If you like how it looks, and I think that you'll find the sound to be acceptable overall. You can check out more details on this with our article, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This is the LilBit T100 mini Bluetooth speaker.